Hey there, Space Cadets! I'm Rabbit. Welcome back to Rabbit's Refuse, a channel where we look at oddities, cultural cast-offs, and unusual children's media. Today's dumpster fire is a film called Wish Fish. At least it's called that in most parts of the world, including Spain, where it was created. Oddly enough, for its localization here in the United States, they changed the name to Aqua Tales. We will also have to have a couple of serious moments due to some of the more awful underlying content of this film. Be aware, this episode contains spoilers galore. We'll be right back.
Introducing Capio, iced cappuccino, new from Maxwell House. Capio Mocha, a splash of chocolate flavor. Capio cinnamon, an unexpected twist. Capio coffee, smooth and refreshing. So many tastes, so little time. New Capio, the thrill is the chill.
And now, our feature presentation.
Aqua Tales, Wish Fish, is a PG-rated film from 2012. It was directed by Gorka Vázquez and Ivan Oneka. It is some of the most blatant, bought and paid for propaganda that I have ever seen. It stars Robert Pattinson, Brendan Price, and Toby Harper in the English language dub. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rabbit just said his name wrong. It's Robert Pattinson. Now let me show you the movie poster. And here's the front cover of my copy again, in its glorious 8-film set. They definitely did this on purpose. Notice that the top 3 films on the front are capitalizing on the biggest name that they have in their voice acting cast. Jane Lynch, Tom Arnold, and of course, Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider, derp-de-derp. Derp-de-derpity-derpy-derp. Until one day, derp-a-derp-a-derp-a-derp.
And watch out for this one to absolutely get a future episode. Yeah, spoiler alerts. Robert Pattinson was in several relatively acclaimed films, as well as some overhyped films from around 2010 to 2012. And the final Twilight film was also released in 2012. Even Google seems confused about Mr. Patterson's identity. The people who made the choice to put Robert Pattinson in the first billing were counting on you to misread his name. But that doesn't even begin to touch on the scummiest things about this film. There is a consistent theme in this film. Fish. Fish facts, bragging rights about how much fish the characters eat, mentions of how good fish is for you, fish puns, This has a lot to do with how the film was funded. The Spanish government is actually partially responsible for this monstrosity, at least by means of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Environment, and the Ministry of Culture, as well as the Basque Department of Culture. Oh, I almost forgot. From Fishers of Europe and the European Union's European Fishers Fund. So apparently the original Spanish release had a little rap at the opening of the film, right before the beginning credits. The only thing that I can find about this rap, other than some anecdotal evidence, is a single screenshot. So if someone out there can find the entire clip for me online, I will pin a link in the top comment of this video.
I might also give you a big wet kiss on the forehead.
This fancy-dancy opening message was sponsored by From about the health benefits of consuming fish. Apparently From Fishers of Europe is no longer, but in its place is a group called the Life Platform, which stands for Low Impact Fishers of Europe. Well, let's get on with it then. Opil, or as I initially heard his name, Oatmeal, is a bit of a chunky boy, and he lives on a steady diet of junk food and hamburgers.
Steamed hams.
Cue a lot of fat jokes and a parade of very rude comments from every single character.
It is ticking away, pufferfish boy.
A boy, but a chunky one at that.
Don't you even think that I'm going to waste them on this blabbery little...
Marina!
Listen, seal belly!
Yikes. It gets really uncomfortable, guys. Oatmeal busies himself by reading his sci-fi comics and eating Mega Cheetos. And no, they aren't just really big Cheetos. I was disappointed too. His mom calls him downstairs for dinner, and Oatmeal gets upset when she tells him she made fish again. I can hear your comments from here about the mother. I mean, I know it, you know it, we all know it. Oatmeal's mom she's got that Pixar-style dump truck booty, just like the tape clown. And yes, she's serving up fish again, but this is a special fish. It's a Aqua Tales wish fish. Yeah, that title change was wholly unnecessary for localization. Utter nonsense. Oatmeal doesn't believe his mom, and he thinks that she's treating him like a toddler. Of course. He's a snot-nosed little brat, and he's rude to boot, so he vocalizes this contempt that he has through a sarcastic and mean-spirited wish. He wants the villain from his favorite comic book to come down from space and abduct his mom, and steal the oceans, and all of the Earth's stock of fish. Hey, cheater! That's technically 3 wishes, jerk. All of this anger because he's tired of having fish for dinner. Typical little a-hole kid. A while later, after his mother has boxed up the last of his dinner that he refused to finish, he watches as the mutants invade. He clearly recognizes them from his comics, and he watches on as his mother gets abducted by our new alien overlords. They probably abducted her to take a closer look at that booty. I, for one, wish that the bookshelf would have landed on him and killed him right there at the beginning of the film. I mean, it would have been short, but, you know. Oatmeal somehow managed to fall asleep while a large portion of his house was completely obliterated, as well as sleeping through the entire planet's oceans and their contents being hoovered into the heavens. And then he got kidnapped by some horrible fish people with unintelligible voices.
I'm searching for the boy who made a wish. Was that you?
They are the Wish Council! They tell Oatmeal that he has to consume a wish fish again and make a wish that cancels the original wish this time, but that there's also only one wish fish in the world every 1,000 years, and that he has to do all of this within 24 hours of eating the original wish fish, or the world is doomed.
Doomed, doomed, doomed.
Oatmeal goes on a quest by himself to find a needle in a haystack. Well, that is a once in 1,000 years wish fish. On his way, he meets Captain Mackerel and his daughter, Marina. All they do is spout off fish facts, fat jokes, and get really weird about how much fish they eat, and honestly, it's like they've never met another human before. They basically try to rehab Oatmeal, and they give him a new fish-related nickname.
Pill Pill!
At some point, Pill Pill becomes incapacitated, and the captain and Marina revive him with canned fish like sardines and canned salmon. Pill Pill does something to upset the captain and invokes his ire. He and Marina ditch Pill Pill in the middle of nowhere and risk the destruction of the entire planet because of their snap decision-making. But Marina goes back after him against her father's wishes, because she has better judgment than him. Marina gives Jub Jub her very special fish-shaped can opener as a gift. It's one of her most prized possessions. Why she chose to give it to him, of all people, we will never know. So Marina goes off to help Ping Pong find some woman that she knows. Supposedly, she's the smartest person in the land. They treat her like a soothsayer or some kind of oracle. She's just a woman who runs a fish farm. Seriously. But she does know a lot of fish facts.
Who are you, who are so wise in the ways of science?
Her name is Lady Rapperfish, and it appears that the only reason she is held in such high esteem is her fish farm, her knowledge of fish, and her business success. Lady Rapperfish treats Jim Jam like a total dingus, and calls him fat, and dumb, and selfish. And then she tells him a riddle.
What is deeper than the sea and more distant than the stars? Something fish remember, and sailors have been endlessly seeking on dry land. Something which, if you eat it, would make you die slowly and painfully.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions three. Ere the other side he see. What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
Her riddle reminds me of the logic puzzle and lateral thinking puzzle books that my mom used to get me when I was a kid, you know, back when she thought that she could make me smart. No! So the kids go to space in a crashed alien spaceship in search of the Wishfish. They've been flying around for a while when suddenly Flim Flam has an epiphany. The answer to the riddle is
nothing!
Nothing.
So the kids go back to Earth to get to Durfdorf's house before the 24 hours is up. That way he can eat the already cooked leftover Wishfish that's been in his fridge this entire time. Ding Dong and Marina get to the house, open the fridge, and he eats a bite of the Wishfish while making a wish to make everything normal and take back his original wish. He sees no immediate results. So he tries again with his next bite, making a wish that is more specific than his previous attempt.
I wish Satron would go away, my mother come back, and everything turn to normal, like before.
The Wish Council appears to be trying to skip town, and right next to the kids, no less. And Whiff Waff and Margarine stop them, and then they question them about their previous terms about Wish Fish Wish Take Backery. They explain that they basically made all of that stuff up just to give Wibble Wobble some courage and to make him think about someone other than himself for once. So they lied. Bok Bok can't take back his wish at all, as in the world is gonna end, it's all his fault, even though he was under the impression he could right his wrongs. And they sort of say it with this sorry not sorry attitude. Poot Poot, out of basically nowhere, decides that he needs to go and defeat the big bad that he summoned to destroy everything. Somewhat to save the planet and restore the oceans, but mostly because he feels bad about wishing harm to befall his mom and doubting her. The children go back into space, and then they proceed to kick some mutant booty.
Oh, I'm very vulnerable there. Oh, there go the piano lessons. Oh, I can't remember my dad.
They make their way to our villain, that we frankly know nothing about. I mean, aside from having his obvious Star Wars ripoff vibes, we know that 1, he's a comic book supervillain. 2, he has the power to destroy worlds. And 3, we know absolutely nothing else. That's it. The kids make it through the slaughter of all of the henchmen and minions, and they get all the way to the baddest boy himself. It goes as well as you would expect in a trash explosion of a children's film of this magnitude. Frou Frou happens to spot his frog toy from the opening of the film in Dork Vader's lair after they defeat him. Ah, come on, you know the old trope. Chekhov's plush frogman. Suddenly, we cut to Beep Beep waking up in his bed, holding his frog monster, inside of his fully intact home, with his definitely not kidnapped mom yelling for him to come downstairs for dinner. They're having fish again, but this time it's a special fish. A wish fish. Whew! What a relief. It's all been just a dream this entire time. The story has not only just been a very convoluted, poorly thought out lesson, but a total waste of my time.
Or was it?
The best deals of the year are at your Chevy dealer. But don't just take our word for it. And see why Chevy Lumina is a tremendous value with a V6 air and automatic, loaded for just $199 a month. And see why the best value you can get with standard anti-lock brakes is Chevy Cavalier, just $149 a month. But do it now, because it ends soon at your local Chevrolet Geo dealer. So...
As we have already discussed, this film was sponsored by multiple government agencies, as well as one very specific industry. So this is all obviously propaganda. Fish propaganda! What you won't be surprised about is that this film was nominated for a Goya Award, which is essentially the Spanish equivalent to an Oscar. It would be like the alternate timeline, where the USDA, the FDA, the Dairy Council, Dairy Farmers of America, and the EPA pool their money together to make Got Milk the movie. And then it gets pitted against The Lion King for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Oh boy, there is a lot to unpack about pushing kids to listen to industry-sponsored, state-made media. And minus the pushing it to kids part, this is what is considered cronyism. It's a lot like nepotism, but business to government, government to business, instead of being relative to relative for jobs and things. I don't like to push politics, but I don't think where you land on a political spectrum chart matters here. We can all clearly see the corruption in this scenario. Interestingly enough, this is also around the same time that the Spanish government was cracking down on rampant misuse of government-sponsored film subsidies. This was for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So take that information however you see fit. So this is beyond a little priority visibility for product placement deals. This is 74 total minutes of unadulterated fish propaganda. There are constant fish references and fish facts, and fish is undoubtedly, unmistakably the main focus of the story from front to back. And they even have a horrible little catchphrase that's complete and utter nonsense.
Omega-te! Omega-te!
You omega-te yourself a bit more.
Omega-te! You know about omega-te? You use the omega-te word crime.
Now, I only took 2 years of high school Spanish, and I really didn't pay that much attention, so I'm not a great source on the Spanish language. But I know for a fact that te means you, and it also can mean tea on occasion. It means the same thing in Basque. It doesn't mean anything about power, strength, agility, fish, farts, anything. And the omega in omega-te is a reference to omega-3 fatty acids that are found in fish oil. They even put a little discussion about it in the film at some point. So the word that Opal and Marina are constantly shouting as their battle cry from their comic books really doesn't mean anything. And by that turn, it really means nothing to the viewer either. It gets repeated ad nauseum, and it always feels so forced, so tacked on, so...
How do you do, fellow kids?
What? Everything about this film is so calculated that I wouldn't bat an eye if I found out that the film was made by a neural network that was created and funded by the Spanish government and then trained by Frum and the EFF. If it were, though, they would have had the opportunity to crank the fish settings up to the absolute max. Oh, I almost forgot. They placed the Frum Fishers logo on the captain's arm. I gained a lot of information by just going on the internet and searching up these agencies and these groups and all of this information about the time in the Spanish government when this film was released. But I also need to give a very special thanks to Cesar, and I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong. I don't speak Spanish very well, like I had said prior, but I need to thank him for his film critic blog. I'm gonna put a link down in the description of this video to the post that he made that was specifically about this film. He filled in a lot of gaps for me that Wikipedia couldn't, and gave me a lot of these little nitty-gritty details. Even though you will probably never see this, thank you, Cesar. Your blog also helped me realize that I hadn't absolutely lost my mind when I saw the most extreme continuity error ever in a film.
Give me a hand!
There's big news where hot and cool connect.
Hot eats, cool treats at Dairy Queen.
The new Royal Fudgin' Cake. Unbelievable! Moist chocolate cake and creamy smooth soft serve come together with hot fudge and rich toppings for a great new taste from Dairy Queen. Choose from 3 luscious flavors. Hot fudge with cherry, hot fudge with butterscotch, and hot fudge with strawberry. The Royal Fudgin' Cake treat, new at Dairy Queen.
Hot eats, cool treats. We treat you right.
In the end, I cannot in good conscience recommend that you watch this film. I mean, it's shameless propaganda. Fish propaganda! In all honesty, I thought The Lorax was a rough watch. I mean, it had a thick layer of corporate key jingling and an environmental message to put the thinnest coat of paint possible on top of a feature-length advertisement. But at least, they had characters that were reasonably lovable and a mostly coherent story, as well as some catchy tunes. We just won't talk about the Onceler fandom. Wish Aqua Tales Fish has a nonsensical story, and frankly it takes a scattershot approach at writing everything except for its fish facts. I mean, what's a good fish propaganda film without some trash-tier factoids and some puns that would make the dadliest of dads roll their eyes in boredom? He's not mad, he's just disappointed. The characters are ugly and poorly written. Every aspect of their decidedly limited personalities seems completely trivial. It has no bearing whatsoever on the plot or the character growth. Aside from Diabolus Ex Machina, ocean suckage, and mom nappery, no character has any motivation in this film at all. The way the characters talk to each other is so detached and unfeeling. They don't really seem to have any real reason to interact besides vague happenstance. Captain Mackerel and Marina don't have any father-daughter chemistry, and they just feel like two strangers that got dumped into the same world together. The film's appearance is so bland and ugly. The scenery is smooth and textureless. It looks unfinished, like a first draft. This was the same year as Disney's Brave, which revolutionized 3D hair texture modeling as we know it. It came out the same year as Wreck-It Ralph, which was an absolute visual feast. It came out the same year as Frankenweenie, with its dark comedy and atmosphere. And it even came out the same year as The Lorax, with its beautiful Seussian world and roots. And then, well, here comes Wishfish, looking like some kind of pre-VeggieTales schlock showing up on the scene. Now, before I get to this next part, I'm going to remind you, again, government and private funds alike went into making this film. It only took in a little over $55,000 US box office worldwide. Yes, a 5-figure gross revenue total. Really giving Avatar and Avengers Endgame a run for their money, y'all. Like I said, this film isn't making it onto my so bad it's good list anytime in the next century. But if you're really feeling froggy, you can stream it on Vudu or rent it on Fandango now. I can think of a lot of better uses for 74 minutes of your time. Take a nap. Read a book. Go on a nature walk. Clean out your phone's photo roll because you save every meme that you find even remotely worthy of a chortle. Watching paint dry would be more useful than watching this film, but I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Or am I? You know, now that I've really had a chance to think about it, this was also the same year that we were blessed with food fights.
Representative.
I wasn't expecting any new products.
A corporate picked your store to test the new Brand X detergent with Alexa.
Brand X, huh? Never heard of it.
Sir Billy.
That one. You're still looking good, old boy. Still looking great.
Your demand, Doy.
Oh. And yes, even another fish movie, Paddock. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more disappointment in the future. Hit the bell if you want to be notified and or warned the next time I post more of my awful content. Come back and listen to me ramble again sometime. See you in the next one.